back with another Marriage Matters with the Marriage. We want to welcome you all in. Thank you guys for dropping in. For those of you that's in here, you may not know who I am. I'm Dwayne Merritt.
I'm Angel Merritt.
She's Wonder Woman, and I guess I'm Detroit versus everybody. But we back with another Marriage Matters with the Marriage. Tonight we discussing the big joker in the room. Money, finance, all that good stuff.
My favorite topic.
I know it's your favorite topic. So listen, this is what we gonna do. This is what we gonna do. The first 30 minutes, as you know, it'll be on Facebook. We gonna try to keep it to that 30 minutes, but we may not. But the entire episode will be at our SoundCloud page. So if you go to SoundCloud and you type in Marriage Matters with the Merritts, you will get the full episode. And we are building episodes, man. Next week we'll have it set up where you can call in. We'll be taking live calls. What else we have? Bunch of stuff. Good stuff. We ain't gonna talk about that. We gonna talk about money today. What's up, Lady A?
What's up? All right, what about money? Let's get to it.
All right, you want me to get to it? You want to get to it?
How you gonna do it?
Okay, listen. I'm so excited about this because first thing I want to say is if you really, and we do a lot of counseling, if you really look at what tears marriages apart, it's money and it's sex.
Right. And communication. Money, sex, communication.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it all ties into each other.
And it's because you don't communicate about money and sex.
About sex. Right. Absolutely. So we want to talk about money. And this is not just for married people. This is for single people, because if you can have this conversation before you get married, it'll save you a whole lot of heartache. Mm-hmm. So I want to say this before we start. This is a principle that we live by. And I want to point this out. Then we're going to jump into some facts. We're going to have a conversation. Before I do that, this is not no Twitter, Instagram. We on Facebook, but it really ain't fake. We want to have a conversation. So it's not about who can have the best information. We want to have a conversation. So if you want to say something, go ahead and chime in. We got our assistant, Sade. She'll be letting us know what you say. We can answer your questions. But let me say this. The principle is, and it says this, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Okay? So what it's saying is that wherever your money is, not that your heart is there, that's where your heart will end up. So if I put my money in the stock market, eventually my heart gonna be in the stock market.
Okay.
If I put my money in whatever I put my money in. So that's the principle, that money is not evil, but what you do with your money, we got to make sure we have a conversation about that. Okay, so now I'm gonna come back to that once we get moving, but I want you to remember that wherever you put your finance, that's where your heart will grow into. Look at your checkbook. If I look at your checkbook, I can tell you what you love the most.
So what do yours say?
Angel. It all say Angel.
Good answer.
Good answer, right? All right, what you got over there? What you got?
Well, first, let's talk about what makes us qualified to talk about this whole money thing.
What makes us qualified? Okay, you want me to tell? Oh man, here we go. All right, listen. Okay, when I asked Angel to marry me, I went to her father. Right, I went to her father. I said, "Hey, I want to take your daughter hand in marriage." The first thing he said to me is, "Pull your credit."
How old was you?
I was about 18, 19, 20. 19,
I think
20?
he was 20.
20. He said, the first thing he said to me is, "What your credit look like?" I said, "I don't know what my credit look like, and I ain't pulling it for you because I ain't pulled it for me." But what he was doing was he knew something that we didn't know. So that's how this is why we're qualified to talk about this, because we then went on a plan to pay off all our debt and put money up. And we actually finished within our time frame and got married early. But the first thing he said, and I was offended. I was mad. What do you mean? I ain't never pulled my credit report. Why am I gonna pull it for you?
And then my father said, if you want to marry my daughter and get a divorce, the quickest way to do that is go into this marriage with debt.
Go into this marriage with debt. And another thing he said that I thought was powerful, he said, you gonna marry her, but you gotta be in the position to take care of her, because I ain't taking care of her if you marry her.
Right.
And that was, years later, I think that was the honest to God truth. So finance will rip you apart. So we're going to have a conversation about finance.
So that was kind of our foundation into where we are today and our platform. We've been through a lot. We learned a lot.
A whole lot.
Our first year of marriage, thankfully, we did go into our marriage with zero debt.
Yeah.
We paid for our wedding 100% cash. And anybody that knows me know I'm a very cheap or frugal person.
No, that's a good way of saying it. Angel is what they call a bean counter.
A bean counter.
She want to know where every penny at, and that drive me crazy because I'm more of a free spirit visionary. So this is the thing. That could either rip us apart or it can put us together if we have a conversation about it. Go ahead.
So all my ladies out there who are bankers or bean counters or whatever, so I know this would drive you crazy because he would tell me, hey, I just went to the store and I spent $20. But then when I look into, like, I'm the type of person, I'm looking in our account like every 10 minutes. It got a balance to the penny. And I'm like, well, the bank account say you spent $21.22.
But ain't that $20?
You said $20.
But ain't that $21 is 20? You round to the nearest.
And I'm like, but that $1.22, that can make you overdraw your account if I'm only subtracting $20, not $21.22. So this was the kind of friction we had early on.
Oh, it was bad, man.
In our marriage because he had to learn me. I had to learn, even though we had been together all them years. How many years prior?
A whole lot.
I don't know. A lot of years before we got married. And that just goes to show you really don't know somebody until you get married, until you living with them, even though we've been together all that time.
Absolutely. And I think we would have so many blowouts over a couple dollars or over a few dollars, and it would just be crazy. And the thing is that if we had a conversation, we would have been straight. All we had to do was have a conversation, and we would have been straight. So we are learning and we're moving, and as we're having the conversations, now we're able to move according to what we feel like we're moving as a team.
So I'm not saying we're not experts in this area. We're just telling you we're going to talk about some of the things that we've experienced, things we've learned through this process.
Yep.
Whatever works in our house doesn't necessarily mean it'll work in your house.
Right.
What works in your house, and I think that's another mistake a lot of people make is they say, this is how it should be.
Yeah.
This is what worked for me and my wife, and this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
And that's not what we're here to do because everybody's house is different. Everybody has different strong areas. So, for example, if the woman is the one that's better at saving and balancing and budgeting and all those things, then it's probably best for her to kind of handle that area of the finance.
Yeah.
And this is my opinion. I'm not, but some people feel like I've heard people say, well, I just think the man should manage the money no matter what.
Yeah.
Even if that's not his strong area, but it's just culturally or whatever, the man just handles finance.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I think that you have people that are raised a certain way and they don't know. And they were taught that men should provide, men should handle this, men should do this. And the truth of the matter is that can really get you in trouble.
Right.
Let's talk about backgrounds.
Because women are just smarter than men sometimes.
No, I know. Wait. No.
Say honey.
Wait. No, I
knew I was going to catch that. So I have here just a couple things of ways that you can avoid running into, I guess, roadblocks or things to help prevent getting to those issues. But you know what? Before I go into this, we have looked at some statistics. I think we should talk about that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Listen, there's a statistic that blew my mind. So when you talk about the divorce rate, and we're looking at roughly about 41%. This is crazy. So there's also a stat that says they did a survey and they said how many people have either a bank account their spouse don't know about or they don't know how much their spouse make. So the divorce rate is 41%, and a lot of times we get into it in church, out of church. It's just 41%. It's just 41% across the board. But the amount of people, the percentage of people that don't know what they spouse make or have a secret account. Now, and I ain't talking about the little stash you got to do little things. I'm talking about a totally secret account, one of those, if we don't make it, stashes. That percentage is 41%. Now, that's not saying that everybody who got a secret account gonna get a divorce, but what it is saying is that money ranks right up there with trust and loyalty.
Right. Because to me, what that says to me is that you're going into your marriage already with doubt, preparing for divorce.
Absolutely. Plan B. So I want a plan B. And that statistic kind of blew my mind because if I go in with a plan B, and y'all can say whatever y'all want, if I go in with a plan B, I'm probably going to use it one day.
Because you're working towards a plan B.
Yep. So, I mean, that just...
So 40% of the divorce rate is 41%.
Yeah.
And then it's 40% of people who have secret accounts.
Okay. And it's not the correlation of if you have a secret account, you get a divorce, but you can tell a lot by numbers. So that's crazy to me.
So the first thing, the first step that I have is that people should just talk about finances. And I feel like that's such a touchy situation, but that's probably the very beginning. The first thing you should do is discuss it.
Yeah.
Like, how can we go into it not knowing, I don't know how much money my husband make. You don't know how much, don't know if I get a bonus, because I feel like if I get a bonus, our family gets a bonus. Right. It's not, this is mine, I'm going to do what I want to do with it. Once again, this is just our household. I'm not saying this is what y'all have to do, but what's the point of being married and you still have two complete separate, you do everything separate. Like, this is my money, your money, and you pay this bill, I'm going to pay that bill. And I just think it's so much easier if you have a lump sum. Yeah. This is how much we bring in every month. This is how much we have to pay. I don't care where it's coming from as long as these bills is getting paid.
But what about people, and let me ask you this being a woman, what about people who so say, I can't trust you with my money?
That's a problem. Like, so you're telling me you're the person that's supposed to be your best friend, the person you supposed to trust with your life.
I love you though.
Everything, but you don't trust them with your money.
I don't trust you with my money. It's people out here that can't be trusted with money, but feelings don't ask permission. So sometimes we fall for people before we have conversations and we don't know what our future looks like.
Tell the story about when you said you first trusted me with your money. Because I just learned this story myself.
Okay,
a couple weeks ago.
So when I was younger, I had a couple dollars. And I put Angel to the test. And I'm going to let some men secrets go here. Sometimes you getting put to the test, you don't even know it. So I had a certain amount of bills. So I had this many this many this many this. And I gave it to her. And I just wanted to see what she was going to do with it. Was she going to spend it and give it back? Was she going to put it up? What she was going to do? And when I went back to get it just at a random time, she gave me everything I gave her back. So what that let me know is that through that period of time that she trusted me enough to, that let me know I can trust her enough to hold on to something, because I believe where your treasure is, there your heart, there so is your heart also. Even when I wasn't in church, I believe that money, and we say more money, more problems, money is the root of all evil. No, it's not. It's what you do with it, is how you look at it. So I just wanted to see if I can trust her. And then I was like, okay, now I can trust her. Then from that point on, I let her take me to the movies. I let her take me to the out to eat.
I let her too far now.
I let her do all of that stuff. Now, let me ask you this. Because you said something. So a lot of people feel like you should have all these separate accounts. So now we're not telling nobody what to do. But as a man, let me share this. We got a bill account, and we learned this. Now, Angel liked to be in control of all the money. She liked to count it. She liked to make sure it's where it's supposed to be. She liked to have these bills coming out at this time. And
I'm a virtuous woman.
You're a bean counting woman.
And I make sure that my house
is secure. And I appreciate that.
And I secure the bag.
But I would get kind of irritated because if I wanted to do something special, man, I couldn't do nothing because she'd be like, oh, somebody hacked the account. Where the money at? Where the money at? So, I mean, now we have separate accounts, but we have one bill account. Now, this is just a little advice. What I love about having a bill account, because I've been laid off from work 3 times in the last 10 years. She never looked at me and said, where your part of the money? She just looked at the bill account and said, this account got to be at, let's use $5,000 for example. The bill account got to be at $5,000 to pay the monthly bills. So it took her from looking at me saying, well, I make more than you, or you ain't bringing in the money from over here, but you got to get it from over here. It took her having one bill account. It took it from her looking at me feeling like she looking at me a certain way to just knowing we got to get this money in this account.
Right.
So how many people do you know have arguments because they may not have the money that they want to have, and somebody saying, well, you ain't pulling your end of the bargain. I love you, but you ain't doing this, you ain't doing that. But if you just had one account,
right,
where as long as it got the money in it, you good, you wouldn't even really look at how you get the money. Because it's a lot of my brothers out there, they just natural hustlers. And they gonna make sure that whatever is there need to be there.
Right.
But it ain't got nothing to do with, man, I gotta be over here. So that's what I love about that account.
But that's the thing, that's why it's so important to talk about finances, because we have weekly meetings, basically.
Yeah.
Where we sit down and we say,
principal alert. Put that on up there, Sade. Principal alert. Weekly meetings. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Meetings.
Weekly
because
meetings.
Because we do. Even though, I mean, we run our household like a business. And the thing is, you have assets and you have liabilities. And every week, what I do is I sit down and I'll say, all right, this is how much money we have in our account.
Yeah.
This is how much the bills are. This is what we need. I don't care where the money come from.
As long
as it's coming.
Money cometh.
This is where we at.
Work?
You know, his thing, you know, I'll tell him this is what we have. Now this is what you need to get.
Yeah.
To make it work. So we just do what we got to do. But it's just that communication. And we work as a team. And it's not that, okay, well, you put in 50%, I'm going to put in 50%, because it's times that he may have been up making more money than me. And
say that again.
And I got to feel in that difference. Or when the table turning, if I'm the one making more money, and, you know, then he got to make up the difference. But at the end of the day, all I care about is we keep good credit.
Yeah.
Because your name comes first. And my father always taught me, as long as you got good credit, you'll never be broke.
There you go.
So we both can lose our jobs, whatever, but if we both got good credit, we can get whatever we want.
Absolutely.
So that was our main, you know, even with his layoffs and, you know, all that stuff, I still made sure that whatever we did, we maintained his credit.
Yep.
You know, I didn't say, well, those are your bills. That credit card is in your name. I'm not paying it. No, because his name still is a reflection of me.
There you go.
So when we go into a dealership, I want them to pull his credit, and he got good credit.
Yeah.
You know, that we both have good credit. So communication, work together as a team. The other thing I want to talk about is write down your goals. That's another thing. I always ask him, where do you want us to be? Where do you see us?
Listen to this, y'all.
We have to make sure that we're trying to work towards the same thing.
Yeah.
If I'm saying, you know, in a year we need to have X amount of dollars in savings, but that's not his idea, how can we work together if we don't have the same goal in mind? Yeah.
Now, let me say this. Now, and I want y'all to listen to this, because I used to be bad with this. Let's just say I want to do something, right? And Angel, like, we really can't afford to do that right now. I'm a visionary. She is an administrator. We could either fight or we can work together. When we clicking, I'm seeing where we going, and she making sure that the finances look good to get there. So that's how we get here today. But on the other end, if we don't have a conversation, man, I'm telling her she ain't got no faith, and she telling me that I'm a fool. Because that's when we bump heads. So we got to have the conversation. Now watch this. Most people think that when somebody tell you your idea is not a good idea, or we don't have the money to do it, watch this. You feel like they're attacking you, and you don't know why you so mad, because it ain't the money, it's the dream behind the money. So when somebody attack you, and I want your spouses to think about this, you got to be careful how you say stuff, because Angel used to tell me, no, we can't do that right now. I'd be like, hold on. I was offended because she's attacking my vision and my dream, and she don't trust me and all that, and it's a bunch of dudes out here just like that don't, and it wasn't that. She was talking about money. But listen to this. Your money is directly associated with your passion, and it's directly associated with your vision and your dream. So you gotta, when you have a conversation, you gotta be able to separate your feelings from your money.
Business is business.
Business is business. So she not attacking you, man, and he not attacking you. It's just having a conversation. Conversation rules. The Wu-Tang Clan said cash rules everything around me. No, conversations rule everything around me. Cream, then we can get the money. Dollar bill, y'all. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Go ahead. What you about to say on there?
No, so the other thing, I mean, just talking about the whole money and building and saying what we can and can't do right now. So a lot of people, I know people at our church or people we've done marriage counseling for, you guys already know this story, but when we first got married, our first year of marriage, we lived off one income. We both were working, but I had sat down and I came up with a plan. I told my husband, our first year of marriage, we're going to put every one of your paychecks in a savings account.
Ooh, that was before kids.
Before kids.
Jesus.
So when I tell you our first year of marriage, and I wasn't making a lot of money back then, and we put his entire paycheck in a savings account for 1 year.
And I was making like $9.50.
Now you was making a little bit more than that.
Little bit
you
more.
probably was in like $12 or something.
$12 range. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I went to 12, but no.
Well, we started before before we got married.
I was
because
making $9.50.
before we got married, he had to pay off all his debt. That's when you were working two jobs, right?
So we did all this off of no money.
So before we got married, that's when my father said, "Look, if you want my blessings, y'all have to pay off all your debt before you get married." So before marriage, he was working two jobs, making about $9 an hour. Then paid off all our debt. My father put us together a spreadsheet, Excel worksheet with all of our debt, and was like, "Y'all have 1 year to pay all this off."
They don't use that no more.
So we paid it off in like 9 months. But after we got married, that's when we started. You had got a new job right after we got married. But for 1 year, we put his entire paycheck in a savings account, and we lived off mine. So that's when I told him, I said, the plan is we're not going to have cable.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you about. Go ahead.
Yeah, like we didn't have internet. I'm telling you, I had a plan. I
thought she was crazy.
Yeah, he thought I was crazy.
Like,
I said, look, we about to go buy us some DVDs. That's when Blockbuster was still out. We go make it a Blockbuster night. We wasn't eating out. Chill. But in that time frame, we had saved, and we bought our first house. So I said, whatever we get approved for, we're only going to buy a house for 50% of that. Because that means if one of us loses our job, we can still afford the house.
Oh, that's good.
And what a lot of people do, they go get a pre-approval and say, okay, I'm pre-approved for $200,000. All right, I want a $200,000 house. But then if one person loses their job or something go wrong, now you don't have an emergency fund. Yeah. You're struggling, and that's how we end up in a mortgage crisis.
Yeah, absolutely.
You losing your house as you go into foreclosure, you're living beyond your means. And so what I talked about too, building an emergency fund. So we saved the money, and we followed the plan to a T.
Yep.
We saved the money for a year. We lived off my small income. We were able to buy our first house. We only bought the house for 50% of what we were approved for.
Yep.
And guess what? The same day we closed on our house, you got laid off.
I got laid off. And y'all listen, my dilemma was, do we get this house? And I remember calling Angel.
But it was cheaper than the rent we were paying. And
it was cheaper to keep her. And I'm like, do we get this house? And our mortgage was cheaper than our rent.
Yep, and the house was twice the size.
The house was twice, and the mortgage was cheaper than the rent. So we gonna be doing some financial stuff coming up. She does the Dave Ramsey financial school piece, and we can take you through that. But this is what was going on with us, and I didn't understand it at the time because I'm a visionary. I just know I want my family in this house. And the Lord spoke to me that day, and He said, and I don't want to get too spiritual on y'all, but this is who I am. He said, if you trust me to give it to you, you can trust me to keep it. And now, faith says that we have a plan that go with what we believe. Mm-hmm. I was looking at the plan, and I said, let's do it. And we did what we did. So,
yeah. So we built our emergency fund. So not only that happened, and then I got pregnant with the twins.
Oh man!
And I ended up having to go off work. But because we had saved his whole salary for 1 year,
we were able.
We didn't really miss a beat when I had to be off work. Then
wait, before you go there, show them how big the cans of Similac was for the.
Oh man, they was like this. We had to go to
the cans was this big.
Costco. We probably spent almost $1,000 a month just on formula diapers. So everybody out there with multiples, you know what I'm talking about. It was expensive. It was a lot of money.
Sometimes the money you put up is not so that you can just become rich. Sometimes it's for a rainy day.
Right.
And when she was off work, we lived off of that. So what was that first? What was that one? Build an emergency fund. I love that. Build an emergency fund.
And then our hot water tank broke.
Uh-oh.
Went out. And I woke up to no hot water. So you just got to be prepared for all those little things. But now think about it. If we was house poor and we got a house based on the full amount, whatever we were pre-approved for, we wouldn't have been able, it would have been, are we going to get a hot water tank or we going to pay the mortgage? You never want to put yourself in that type of crossword.
So all of this is going back to conversation, because if you don't have a conversation, you're not on the same page. Yeah. When our hot water tank broke, Angel said we got to go get another one, and no, she said we got to go to a hotel. I said, what? I said, give me a couple pots.
That's when I learned how to boil water. I never
give me a couple pots, man. Let's get it. What is she? But her daddy made me pull a credit report to marry her. So I'm like, okay, you might never, but this ain't nothing to us. This is how we get down. Go ahead, get the pot to the water. She was like, so our strengths complement each other, weaknesses complement each other. Now, me and her, our first 6 months of marriage, we was almost divorced because we didn't understand this type of stuff that we talking about now. So it wasn't good at first, but we was bumping heads. But you got to take the way you are and make it work for you.
He thought I was just bossy.
I thought she was bossy. She's still bossy.
Realize, but then look.
Yeah. You get the props now on that end. Okay. But podcast wise, we here because I had a vision. There you go. Go ahead. Go to the
next important thing.
We got like 5 minutes on Facebook, 4 minutes, and then, but SoundCloud, you can hear this whole episode because we're going to keep it going, but we're going to get off Facebook in a minute. So if you got questions or comments, you better say it right now. Go ahead.
All right. Track your budget. Track what you're spending.
Ooh.
So it's one thing. A lot of people will make the plan and they'll say, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to have $1 million by the end of the year.
Yeah.
But you're not tracking what you're spending, because show me how much you spent on McDonald's this month.
Ooh.
Show me how much you spent on new shoes and, all this kind of stuff.
Track it.
You got to track it, because back to what you were saying, your money shows you where your heart is.
Wherever your money is, that's where your heart is.
How much did you pay in your tithe and your offering?
There you go. Can I say something real quick before you jump in there? Let me say this, and I believe this wholeheartedly. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be. Mm-hmm. Right? You cannot have, this is my opinion, y'all, but this is a podcast, so I'm gonna be 100 with you. You cannot have a successful marriage if you do not sow into your marriage. Mm-hmm. So where your treasure is, there your heart will be. You gotta sow into that thing. You gotta sow. Listen, you can't wait till you make $1 million to take a vacation. You might need to take one right now.
Right.
Because y'all about to kill each other. You got to get out of there. Go to Kalahari.
Yeah.
Las Vegas.
And not only your marriage, your family. And this is something that we teach our children when we talk about Christmas and birthdays. And, I know a lot of kids like, I wanted all these gifts, and you got gifts up to the sky. But we tell our kids, would you rather have a trip, a vacation, or do you want us to waste money on all this stuff you go play with one time?
Build the memories, man.
Build the memories. Those last forever.
And that's a conversation. What do we want to do with our finances?
Right.
Let's go. That's some good stuff over there.
Save for retirement.
There you go. I'm gonna let you.
I read another stat, and it talked about sometimes people work so much in marriages that you're working so much trying to pay the bills that you neglect the marriage. Back to you don't spend time with each other.
Wow. That's good.
You're so busy trying to pay your bills day to day to live that you're not living.
Yeah.
Essentially, like your kids don't have a relationship with you, and you don't have time for your spouse, and it's because I'm working so we can have this lifestyle. But what good is it to have this great house and car and all this stuff, but then your marriage is nothing? Your kids don't spend any time with you.
A couple more. Yeah.
So.
Y'all running our time is almost up, y'all. So y'all better say something. We getting out of here. Can I say something about that? Hey, everybody, look at me on the Facebook. Check this out. A big mistake that we make, and I want to talk to my fellas out there. We get in arguments with our spouses or with our girlfriends because we feel like we're giving them our all, and sometimes they don't appreciate it. Women too. You feel like you're giving him your all and he don't appreciate it. Could it be, just a question, could it be that you're not giving him your all, you're just giving him all of what you have left, which you think is 100% because you wasted, but it's really only 30% because you done gave everything else 70%. So your 100% that you're giving might be 100% of only what's left, and it's not coming across like it's love. So think about that. So I learned that where I come home dog tired, and I be with the kids, be with Angel, and I might fall asleep on the movie, and she like, man, you falling asleep, and I'm like, but I did this. I felt like I was giving her everything I had left, but I wasn't giving her everything I had because I done already gave away everything that I had. Mm-hmm. Finance, family, put that stuff first, man, and then everything else will fall in line. So it could be that when that argument, y'all got to have that conversation, baby, you giving me your all, but you only giving me all of what you got left. Because when you with your homeboys and when you with your homegirls, you having a great time, but when you get home, we can't even have a conversation.
Right, and I don't want the leftovers.
Oh, Jesus, go ahead. What we got on there?
Well, how are we done? I mean,
can we give them 5 more minutes? Can we try to take 5 minutes? Okay.
All right, y'all have any questions or comments out there?
Y'all better put it in there.
We gonna keep going.
No, just do one more and then we'll shut down Facebook.
All right.
Y'all want us to shut it down? Y'all better say something or we gonna shut it down.
Get out of debt and stay out of debt.
Ooh.
So that's the hard part. Sometimes people will work hard. You get your plan, your budget, you get out of debt. All right, it's great. But then you get right back in that same hole.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm saying this because I've seen it happen. I've been working in the financial industry for about 17 years now, I think. And I see it's a pattern. Like people, they'll work hard, they'll get out of debt, and then they're right back in the same hole. Like how did that happen? You pay off $20,000 in credit card debt, now you right back at $30,000.
That's good.
So it's a lifestyle change. Sometimes it's just like dieting. Like sometimes people will they'll diet till they get to the weight they want to be, but then they go right back to those same old habits. So it's a lifestyle change. You have to keep practicing those same things.
In the good and in the bad.
Right.
Amen. I believe that. I think we need to get off of Facebook and we're going to continue this discussion.
What is Pam saying no about?
I don't think she got no questions.
Oh.
I think. So what number you on?
That was it for that part.
Okay. And then we're going to go on other money management tips. We're going to go into tips for newlyweds. That's going to be good. Mm-hmm. And let me say this, just because you married don't mean you ain't in newlywed status. Because we do marriage counseling and sometimes so some of this stuff you were not taught when you got married. So we gonna jump on that. Facebook,
we've done counseling for people who've been married 10 years and they still don't know each other.
They've never had premarital counseling, really.
It's like newlyweds, even though y'all been living together 10 years.
So we gonna get off Facebook. I think we need to get off. All right, listen. Facebook, check me out. In about an hour, we're gonna finish this discussion. We're gonna post this to our SoundCloud. Go to SoundCloud, Marriage Matters with the Merits. We already have one up from last week. We're getting better and better with what we can do each week. Next week, where we're putting the tips up now, but next week, we're gonna have it where you can call in and talk to us while we're on air. So we're going to continue the discussion. We're not done, but we're done with Facebook. So when this video, I'm going to post the SoundCloud link. You can go finish it because now we got tips, money management tips for newlyweds. And I'm going to tell y'all something. Some of you, I don't care how long you've been married, you probably can use some of these tips. And we're going to talk about our issues, things that we had, problems that we had, and all of that good stuff. And then we going to go from there. And my kids crying. Let's get on up off of there.
And before we go off Facebook, we have, I think, one spot left for
the Marriage Matters Retreat.
Yeah, the Marriage Matters Retreat. Marriage Enhancement in Las Vegas, October 15th through October 20th. We'll be in Las Vegas at the Polo Towers. You can, for that one spot we still have open, you can register at marriagematterstous.com.
Tous.com.
The number 2.
put your $100 in, lock your spot. And if you want to inquire about it, marriagemattersteam@gmail.com. I'll put all these links under this video and share this video, man. And y'all, listen, this is the second week we did it. I saw y'all in there talking about Sade because she dropped the thing. That's all right. We getting back. Stuff happens, Sade. You all right with me. Y'all better leave my Sade alone. But listen, we gonna keep that in there too because this is what it really is. Got me? All right. All right. Bye, Facebook. We love you. I'll put the link up for the rest of it.
See y'all next week.
See you next week. All right. What you got right there? So now we're talking about other money management tips for newlyweds.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we have on there?
Share responsibilities. So I think what people get confused is they think that money management is just having a quick discussion, and then one person kind of just carrying a ball. Where really, what it comes down to, what we kind of discussed earlier, is knowing what your strong area is.
Yeah.
So if I know that, if you know I'm the one that's good at counting them or making sure that we got enough to pay what we need to pay.
Yeah.
But I know that you're good at securing the bag.
Come on.
Then
Talk about it.
Then I'm gonna, I'm gonna make sure that I'm staying in my lane. Basically,
Yeah.
like we're gonna work on it together. I'm gonna say, hey, this is where we at. What do we need to do? And I'm gonna pull on you for the area that you're strong in, instead of me trying to do something I know that I'm not good at doing.
But what do that conversation look like if I'm not really good at it? You are, but I think I'm good at it.
the biggest part is taking part in all the decision making. Period.
Oh,
So like,
I see what you're
let's
saying.
say that, and this is us in real life. So like, if you say, hey, we really need a new TV, right?
All the time.
Then you'll come to me and say, hey, we need a new TV for the family room.
Yep.
And then as a couple, as a unit, we go come together and talk about how to budget and all right, so now we know the goal. The goal is to get a new TV for this living room or whatever. So what I'm going to say is, all right, how do we get to this end result? Now I know we go find out how much it costs. How much do we need to budget? What do we need to do to get to the end result? So I'm going to pull on you for whatever it is I need from you, and then I'm going to do my part. So basically, I'm a plan, and you go give me your whatever. We're going to discuss it to get to the same result.
Right. So in other words, teamwork makes the dream work. Right.
So the responsibilities have to be divided, and we have to figure out, in order for us to do this. So are we gonna not go out? Let's cut out going out to eat a couple times this month. Are we gonna do?
Yeah.
So basically, it's not one person telling the other person this is what we gonna do. It's not a dictatorship.
It's a decision.
It's a decision that we're gonna make together. Like, okay, so if we go get this TV, then we know, well, we go cut out going out to eat 4 times this month. Right.
And I think that comes down to honesty and understanding that we can't do everything, but we got to make some sacrifices. You talked about it earlier. When we first got married, we didn't have cable. Mm-hmm. We didn't have
internet.
We ain't had internet. We ain't had nothing, but we had enough money to do what we wanted to do. So I thought that was key. Awesome. What else we got on there for the newlyweds?
Bring up touchy subjects with love.
Oh, Jesus. That mean we can't talk about it when we mad at each other?
No. The best time to talk about something that's a difficult conversation is to talk about it when things are going good.
But how can you do that without setting that up prior? Like, because if I'm mad, I want to talk about it right now. I want to talk about it right now. So how do we get to that point to say we ain't gonna talk about it right now?
We got a question in the audience.
I want to hear, how do you do that? Because I gotta say it right now. I'm mad, it's gotta come out. Then I can go back to normal.
Because you both have to take accountability on both sides.
Yeah.
So instead of, like, let's just say, for example, I'm thankful my husband is not a overspender, because normally that's how it is. Normally you got one person that's a spender and one person is a saver. Uh-huh. And I think we are kind of the same, almost, I would say. Like, There's certain things like he don't mind spending money on. I know his area. He likes spending money on his equipment, all this stuff y'all see.
Yeah.
And I don't even know. I think I'm just cheap all the way around the block on everything. But so what I'm saying is most normally you had that one person who just spend like crazy on everything.
Yeah.
But let's just say that I thought he had a problem and he just overspend on everything, right? Instead of me just coming out the box just yelling and screaming like, why did you buy all this? You did, instead of just attack mode, you have to find a way to have a discussion.
Absolutely.
Because you have to show us a partnership, that it's not a dictatorship.
Right.
So instead of me coming at him saying, you just did this, why did you spend that? You, I would take the approach of, hey, back to our goals. This is what, remember we talked about setting the goals. And so just so you know, remember we talked before and we said that, next year we want to buy a house. So in our planning, we came to the decision that in order for us to be able to buy this house, we have to save this amount of money.
Yeah.
So in order for us to do that, we just gonna have to cut back a little bit in this area. Back to us, I'm not attacking him, but I'm saying this is what we have to do together.
And I think one of the main keys in that, what she was saying too, is remember we had that conversation. So it has to be a pre-conversation so that when that conversation happened, remember when we talked about that. So you got to set it before you get mad. A lot of times, especially with men, we don't want to shake the boat. So if it's cool, you a little mad, we ain't gonna bring it up. We good. But if we have those conversations prior, then when we get into a tough situation, man, we can just say, hey, we already talked about this, right? And we go back to our structured principles that we set. So how do you do it? Pre-conversation. Remember, conversation rules everything around me. So conversation, and then remember the principle of the conversation when the problem arises. So the real hard part is reminding yourself of what y'all talked about when you bad. So it's not even a person issue. It's like, we already talked about this. Let me not be mad even though I got it right, and let's remember. So you replace bad habits with good habits. Instead of reacting first, I'm gonna think then react.
And then even if you decide to go outside of whatever the plan was, that should be something that's discussed. So,
yeah, absolutely.
For example, if we're planning to buy a house next year and we know this is our plan, this is what we're going to do. If he comes to me and say, hey, we really need a trip. We need a weekend getaway, we do right now. And that's something we go decide together. Like, okay, so we go dip into this pot, whatever, and we just go, but how much are we going to spend? Do you just want to spend $200? And then we work within that budget.
Yeah.
Instead of him just going out saying, I'm just going to splurge and I'm just going to take us to Vegas for a weekend and spend $1,000.
Yeah.
Now he took it upon himself and made a decision for our family and our income or our, whatever we have saved. And he just did that on his own, which will cause an issue.
Yep.
But if he bring it to me and we discuss it together and say, okay, we're both agreeing, we go take money out the pot to go take a quick weekend getaway. Yeah. Then there's nothing to be mad about because we both agreed and we know that our goal is still this, but we realize that we need to take a lump sum or whatever and do what we need to do.
Yeah, so pre-conversation, how can two walk together except they agree? And then a lot of practice. A whole lot of practice. What you got on there?
So find the right level of risk as a couple. So when you talk about investments, this is a lot for us. So y'all know we have a whole lot of businesses that we've started. And this is something that we have to discuss as a couple, as a team. Like, because not only are we marriage partners, we're business partners.
Yeah.
So we have to, and I see this happen in a lot of marriages where you have this visionary, this person, they just want to do everything, right? But they don't consider the other person.
That's me. Go ahead.
And they just say, all right, I want to do a new pyramid scheme. And I'm going to take all the money we have and invest it in this Ponzi.
I have the pyramid.
Whatever it is,
Jesus
but
Christ.
they don't have the conversation with their partner, with their spouse and say, hey, this is, what do you think about this? What do you think about if I want to, about this business? And then, what level of risk are we willing to take? If it says, okay, well, to start up this business, it's $100. If it all goes bad, we'll only lose $100. If you're willing to take that that risk, okay. But I see people just jump out there and do stuff without having any type of conversation.
Yeah.
And they lose everything.
Yep. I think it go back to that conversation about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the right level of risk for you may not be the right level of risk for me, but let's meet in the middle. And I'll give you an example. This is the way I process. I'll teach if I'm passionate about something, I'll teach it to myself. And then I'll find people that know. So we say, we'll do a podcast. We'll do this. We'll do that. But then I need to get with her and say, hey, what can we really afford to take this chance? And then we kind of go from there.
Yeah.
All right.
And sometimes the other person has to, like what you are to me, the one that pushed me, because sometimes
Come on now.
I'm so on a,
Come on.
you know, like
Give me
I
my props.
don't want to take any risk.
She ain't taking no risk.
Yeah.
She counting the money, putting it under the mattress. Go spin it.
But
Go spin it.
this is why it's good to have balance, because even with that, that's how when I started the dance school, if it wasn't from him, I would have never started it. He knew my whole life. All I talked
on.
about is I want to have a dance school one day.
Come on, tell the story. Tell the story.
So when I was working at Bank of America and I said, we were just talking, I'm like, man, I should just open a dance school. You know, sometimes you just talk and you just say stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, open it then. I mean, he said it just like that.
Go
And
do it.
Sometimes you just need that reassurance. You know, somebody just pushing you to say, just do it.
Hey, you do that then?
And it was that simple. And then literally the next day I found a building and we signed a contract the following Monday. And then we started renovations that Friday.
There you go. Sometimes you got to jump. When it's your season, you got to jump. What we got on there?
So,
Them sound like my kids going.
be honest.
Oh, God. Come on. Come on.
Honesty is the best policy.
Yes, it is.
Um,
I'm going to leave that one alone. Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, the lying about money to your spouse, obviously that's what leads to divorce. I mean,
That's the worst thing you can do. The best thing you can do is get ahead of it and say what it is. The more you hide stuff and it come out, the more your spouse, male or female, will think you're hiding other things. Get in front of it. If you got that ticket, say, I got that ticket. If you got it, just say you got it. Because it's just like being in school. The wrath is much easier when you get in front of it. Own it. Own the problem. Yeah.
I mean, I just don't get it. I mean, I see people and they sneaking bags in the house and they don't want to tell their spouse, I bought this or I bought that. What's the point?
Well, you do it.
No, I don't.
Well, you have new stuff, and when I ask you, is it new? You say you've been had it.
Because I really been had it.
Yeah, you been had it, but you
I don't
snuck.
even shop a lot.
I know, but you got some stuff you snuck
I
in.
actually hate shopping.
No, but this the thing. Some stuff you sneak in and you just hold it for a long time.
Because I probably can't fit it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
See, now he calling me fat. You see?
Man, come on. What's next?
Hey, y'all
What?
see
Come
how
on.
I-
What's next?
How I spent that real quick.
Yeah, that's what women do. And see, this is what women do. She spent it. Now I want to get off of it real quick. So what's the next one?
Well, it goes hands in hand. So we talked about be honest, trust your spouse.
Trust your spouse.
Unless you determine that your spouse is lying.
Ooh. I'm gonna leave that one right there.
What?
Ooh, go ahead. What we got next?
Learn from each other.
Absolutely. I think the greatest thing that we can do as people and individuals is learn from whoever you're attached to in any relationship. You learn what you can learn. You learn from them. Their weakness may be your strength. Your strength may be their weakness. You must learn. That's a song, ain't it? You must learn. Old song or something. Well, you got to learn, and I think what we can do in learning is we learn each other. So I look at Angel and I say, well, what is she good at? What's she not good at? What am I good at? What we not good at? And how can we mesh those and make those come together? So I think that's good. Learn from each other.
Right. So you never take your spouse for granted. Because sometimes if you are good in a certain area, you automatically think that you know everything and you can't learn anything
That's
from
a
the other
bad place
person.
to be in.
And I feel like it's something I can learn from everybody.
Yep.
No matter, because everybody has different experiences. And even the example that we used earlier with the whole hot water situation.
Oh, yeah.
even though I may be good with balancing the money and doing all that kind of stuff, but when it comes to that,
that instinct, that
survival, the survival mode, that's when I can really lean on him.
Yeah.
When we get down to the end, I always kind of felt like everything had to be done in a certain order, a certain way. Everything has a place. That's just kind of how I was raised. Mm-hmm. And then when we get to a situation when stuff just is not, when it's not in order and stuff is not how I think it's supposed to be, he kind of, gives me peace in that area where he'll say, it's not the end of the world. It's okay.
We gonna be all right.
If
that's one thing I know.
If you can't pay this bill this month, you just can't pay it. Instead, don't stress out about something you can't change.
Don't lose years off your life for a bill that is gonna be a little late when you about to be in a position where you ain't got to worry about bills at all. Because you don't want worry to kill you early, and you walking through you walk into your wealthy place later in life, but stress has took years off your life and you can't enjoy it. Mm-hmm. And all thy get an understanding, and consider not tomorrow, because today got enough evil. Stress will kill you early, and you won't be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Yep.
Give me an offering.
Next, give 100% of yourself. So put full effort into your financial matters of your marriage.
Finance matters.
Yep.
So it's not 50-50. It's 100-100. Any marriage that's 50-50, you on your way out.
So if you're giving excuses, and I always say it, an excuse is a dressed up lie. So if you're always giving excuses about why you're blowing off certain things, you're wasting money, you're doing this, even people who say they can't give in church, back to the giving your tithe or your offering. And I hear a lot of people say, I just can't do it. I can't afford it. But if you look in your bank account, you see you spent $500 at McDonald's this month, but you couldn't put $50 in church.
Yeah.
That's just an excuse, because people find a way to do what they want to do.
You'll do what you want to do. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So if you're not giving 100% to your marriage or yourself, then basically you reap what you sow.
Yeah.
So you only go get out of your marriage what you put into it.
Yep.
And the last thing is... remember your vows.
Woo! Remember your vows.
Yep. So if you vowed to love your spouse for richer or poorer, then live like it.
Yeah. Yep. Remember your vows. There's a point that you'll get in your relationship, in your marriage, or whatever the case may be, where the only thing you have is what was. I don't know where we're going. I don't know where we are. It's kind of like your walk. I don't know where we're going. I know what I want it to look like. I don't know where I am, but I remember what was promised to me. And when all else fails, when they put you on a table and they say, we're going to cut your head open, we're going to take 13 millimeters of your brain, we're going to take your C1 vertebrae, we don't know if you'll be able to walk, we don't know if you'll be able to remember. You have to remember what you promised. Mm-hmm. In sickness and in health, for richer or for poor, till death do us part. Remember your vows.
Amen. And I just want to give credit to the source where I got this.
I am your source.
So
I am your source. Give me credit.
We'll put the link on there. The information that I provided tonight came from moneycrashers.com.
Oh, that's good.
And they have a lot of information just about marriage and money and finance, all that kind of stuff. So we'll add that link. That's
good.
all I got.
Well, I think we done. What we want to do, I want to say this and then we'll get out of here. The Marriage Matters podcast is not just for married people. It's for people that desire to be married, because we do a lot of marriage counseling and we realize that people don't have the basics that we wish we had when we started. We were on the verge of divorce. We were bumping heads. Nothing was going right. And out of that, we develop a system to say, if we had this information starting, we would have been good a long time ago. So it's birthed out of our pain. But the Marriage Matters podcast is not just for married people, it's for people that desire to be committed to another person. So we're going to basically walk you through some of these premarital things that we struggle with at 10 years, at 20 years. And listen, you might say, I know it. I know all of this. But what about the refresher course? Sometimes you need a refresher. So, man, we jumping into this thing. We going to dive in. And we're not speaking from a place of perfection. We're speaking from a place of being scarred and healed. Mm-hmm. And we just want you to share this, man. And we got the links up. We just want you to do what you do, share this. We'll have people calling in next week. We're going to set that up. And I just want y'all to take care. SoundCloud, Facebook, Marriage Matters with the Marriage, YouTube, Marriage Matters with the Marriage, Instagram, Marriage Matters. Am I missing something?
Are we missing something?
We missing something. MarriageMattersToUs.com, MarriageMattersTeam.com. And we just thank y'all for tuning in. Please share this with somebody who may be having problems in their marriage, and it has nothing to do with money, but it has everything to do with communication. They can take out money. You can take out money, and you can put it in whatever issue you may be having. Please share this with someone. And if they got questions, email us at marriagemattersteam@gmail.com. We do counseling. We're open for counseling. And we're not the type of counselors that'll take your money and don't help you. If we feel we can't help you, we'll tell you, look, we can't help you. But if we can help you and you're willing to be helped, you can holler at us at any time.
And leave comments. If you and your spouse, if you're doing something that's working, leave a comment.
We want to know about it.
That might help somebody out there. Like I said, we don't know it all. What we do may not work for other people. We're just speaking from our experience, but I know it's a lot of people out there with successful marriages who are doing,
different things,
some good things.
Absolutely.
So we want to hear about it.
Good job. I think we done. We out.
We out.
Capiche. Peace. Marriage Matters. We'll holler.